So myself and Toby Durant of Racing Games were recently lucky enough to head down to Frontier Development Studio and get a hands-on preview with F1 Manager 2022. We both absolutely loved the game, but let's take a closer look at what we really thought of it right now. Now, ever since its announcement, F1 Manager 2022 has captured the imagination of fans and gamers everywhere. Frontier Developments has a good history with management games, but as a new franchise and their first sporting venture, F1 gamers have a lot of questions about F1 Manager. We can now answer some of those following a hands-on preview of F1 Manager 2022, so let's get into it. Myself and Toby D arrived at the Frontier offices and were treated to a preview build of F1 Manager 2022, set up for us as Alpine boss 2 weeks before the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With limited time to explore the game, we started clicking around and were amazed by the detail included in F1 Manager 2022. Frontier has not skimped on options, menus, and depth, but it is all presented in a fluid and intuitive way. Everything from development and fabrication of parts, HQ facilities, and staff performance is a click away, while a contextual button in the top right keeps you aware of crucial things that should be done before you move on to the next day. Just a little interjection here from myself. I would say that as someone who doesn't have much experience with simulation and management simulation titles, the screens can be a little daunting, but after just an hour of gameplay, I found myself clicking through them rather easily, so don't be put off if you haven't played a management title before. There is plenty to do, as every staff member and dollar spent is key to the overall success of the team. You can go super deep into the performance gain of a new part with all the data a real team would gather, or get a brief overview of the key improvements like reduced drag or greater cornering performance in a way that doesn't require a motorsport engineering degree to understand. And that is one of the things that, as I mentioned, the game does really well in helping it become accessible for all levels of F1 fans and those who are new to management titles. Frontier has gone to incredible depth with driver ratings too. Everything from braking, cornering, consistency, and tyre management is given to you, but only if you scout the driver. There are also separate attributes for their development and aggression, making young drivers like Jack Doohan and Richard Verschoor an interesting option if you want to invest in youth. With new parts being created one at a time, you could have tough decisions to make about who gets that new front wing, and if one gets broken in practice, that's it. Seasoned managerial gamers will love what they find in F1 Manager. Now, as I said, new players might get overwhelmed to start with, but everything does flow well, and there is plenty of help for those new to both the sport and the genre of game. Myself and Toby D were then asked to simulate the practice and qualifying, and we got to race day at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with Alpine. There was a temptation to put Oscar Piastri in the car, but we stuck with Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. Frontier has promised a broadcast level presentation for race day, and they were not overplaying their hand. The pre-race shots of the grid, garages and pit wall comes with a crofty voiceover and genuinely looks like the real thing. F1 Manager comes alive when the race gets underway though. There are real-world TV angles you can watch from, but also onboard, T-cam and nose angles, as well as a track map to get a sense of the overall race. Then you can watch in real time, or speed the action up to 2, 4, 8 and even 16 times if you want to. We found ourselves mesmerised, and without a time constraint we could easily have done the whole race in real time. When the race started, the adrenaline really kicks in. As team boss, you have an incredible sense of power over proceedings, but also a total lack of complete control. You can direct your drivers on their ERS usage, fuel use, tyre management, but of course you can't drive the car for them. You can't orchestrate a dive bomb or Perez in Abu Dhabi style defense. Thanks to all this, you're on tenterhooks for the whole race. Safety cars also throw up amazing in-race decisions, as do red flags. Do you brake with the original strategy to get onto fresh tyres, or do you stay out and try and gain track position? When an early safety car came out, TD split his cars and called Ocon in for new tyres. This sent him to the back, but he was soon able to carve back through the field, much like a driver could do in real life. Deciding to overcut with Alonso gained TD a few places as others got stuck in traffic. But then another safety car gave him further choices to make. Overall, it was a thrilling experience and one that both of the Tobys here at Racing Games cannot wait to experience again. It's also important to remember that despite the fact that we had an amazing time playing the title, it's not even fully finished yet. So this is of course a pre-release version of the game and not the final product. Now, we do also finally have an official release date for F1 Manager. This is on console and PC and it is the 30th of August. However, if you pre-order digitally and you're a PS Plus subscriber for those on PlayStation, you can get a 10% discount and 5-day early access to the title. This means that the game will then be available to you on the 25th of August rather than the 30th, and that the game will be, of course, 10% cheaper. So, what do you make of F1 Manager 2022? Do you think it's going to be a title that you pick up? Because we highly recommend doing so. We loved our time playing the game. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll catch you in another video here on the Racing Games channel soon.